Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Tonight on Our News, a former minister's husband murdered outside their home. Her former colleagues express shock. 2 men arrested following a $25 million drug bust. The chief magistrate calls for the appointment of a new gun court magistrate. And an 8 Mile Rock woman receives a home for the holidays. Welcome to Our News, and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, a former cabinet minister and her family is in mourning tonight after her husband was gunned down in cold blood outside their home 2 days before Christmas. The shocking incident garnering national attention, with government ministers on scene last night to show support. Kyle Joaquin was there and has the details.
Today would have been a very busy holiday shopping day for Park Lane Lux here along Bay Street, but now, as you can see, the doors remain closed and the shutters on the windows after its owner, Leon Griffin, was murdered in cold blood last night. Heartbreak and anguish outside the Winton Meadows home of former cabinet minister Melanie Griffin last night after her husband, businessman Leon Griffin, was shot to death in his car just before 8 p.m.
So where Leon is? What happened? What happened? Please, what happened? Oh! Oh! Oh!
The victim received gunshots to the head. EMS was summoned to the scene, and that male was subsequently pronounced lifeless.
According to police, upon hearing gunshots, Griffin ran outside her home, only to find her husband dead in his silver Volkswagen. The motive at this time is unclear, but police believe this may have been an attempted robbery.
It appears to be a robbery. It appears so, because all the evidence are gearing towards that, but we cannot say that conclusively, because you have to take all the nexus, all the background information to tell us what it actually is.
The heartbreaking murder came 2 days before Christmas, with a house adorned with Christmas decorations and the Christmas tree visible from the outside. Former Prime Minister Perry Christie called it devastating that this happened at a time meant for family.
She called me very early on when she was here alone with her daughter, having heard the shot, having gone outside and seen her husband. And it is very, very tragic occurrence. At this time of the year, it's compounded in terms of how tragic it is. Melanie and her husband didn't deserve this, but it has happened, and it's another example of the great challenge we have in the country of being able to deal with issues of criminality.
Former members of the Christie administration who served alongside Mrs. Griffin at the cabinet table also gathered outside the home to show support, all in absolute shock at the horrific incident.
You know, me and Melanie go way back. We were elected for the first time together back in 2002. Served in 2 cabinets, served for 15 years in Parliament together. And just to watch her tonight and her daughter and her stepdaughters and look and see what they're going through, I mean, it's just heart-wrenching.
I want to say, this is just heartbreaking. This is a really, really rough situation for anybody to be going through. So many families have been going through it, It just leaves you to wonder, what's going on in the country.
Her husband was so connected to her that I saw him just like I see her. They were extremely nice people, and it's difficult to fathom why anybody would do such a thing. But God knows all things, and one of these days we'll find out what happened.
Leon Griffin was described as a caring man who loved his family. Our News spoke with the former taxicab union president back in January outside his jewelry store as Bay Street businesses struggled to make a rebound. Even then, he was more concerned about the well-being of his staff.
Eventually, we had to redundant most of the staff, and we had to pay them off. And whatever we had saved, we had to pay off. And then the rent is still coming, so you got to find money to do those things.
A horrific twist to the holiday season for this family. In a statement, Prime Minister Philip Davis extended his condolences and pledged to use all resources of the state to resolve this crime. In the meantime, A police investigation is underway.
Our officers are canvassing this community to see if we can find any surveillance that would assist us with this investigation.
For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Thanks, Kyle. As firearms continue to be the weapon of choice in the majority of the country's murders, Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt, who once served as gun court magistrate, says it's time for that role to be refilled. Our Jasmine Brown sat down with Ferguson Pratt ahead of the new legal year and filed this report.
10 years after she was appointed gun court magistrate, Joyanne Ferguson Pratt says she believes there should still be a specialized court with someone filling that post. Why? Well, the chief magistrate says it's no secret that illegal guns are used in hundreds of crimes every year.
I do hold my personal view. There has been an unprecedented amount of firearm matters using unlicensed firearms. And it is my view that in order to keep up with the volume of firearm matters, there should be someone who exclusively deals with firearms.
According to the 2020 crime statistics, fatal gunshot wounds were the leading cause of death for homicides, as 57 of the 73 victims were shot. Firearms also continue to be the weapon of choice for the 313 reported armed robberies last year. 279 firearms and 4,044 rounds of ammunition were seized by police last year. Ferguson Pratt says while many people think illegal guns are a New Providence-centric issue, that's not the case.
You would be surprised that even the more remote islands, like Crooked Island and Acklands and Bimini, Eleuthera, I dealt with all of the firearm matters that came before the courts.
Ferguson Pratt served as an assistant director of prosecution in the Office of the Attorney General before she was named gun court magistrate in 2011. The then Ingram administration reintroduced the gun court to expedite firearm cases. She says one of the ways a gun court would help is in the sentencing phase.
That also would, in my view, lend itself to more consistent sentencing when one adjudicator is dealing with.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
2 Venezuelan men will spend Christmas behind bars after they were busted during a multi-million-dollar drug seizure on Crooked Island Wednesday night. Bethany McDermott reports.
Two men were arrested during a major cocaine bust on Crooked Island, which resulted in the seizure of 1,254 kilos of cocaine valued at $25,080,000. Police press liaison officer ASP Audley Peters said police on the island heard a plane hovering late Wednesday night and went to investigate.
The officers became suspicious, and as a result, the officers went to the airport, and on their arrival, they saw a plane parked on the runway, and as a result they went to the plane and saw 2 males running from the plane and left the door open. They pursued those suspects and captured them and took them back to the plane.
Police then searched the plane and found 44 black bags. The drugs weighed in at 3,142 pounds. Peter said the Venezuelan men are ages 29 and 60. Police could not say where the plane came from or how long it was in Bahamian airspace.
Well, the Crooked Island Airport is not a 24-hour airport. Individuals have their skills, whether it be illegal and legal, in the world of aircraft. So perhaps those individuals would have used their skills knowing that our airport is not a 24-hour manned airport. And based on their skills, or persons who may have been on the island assisting them, may have placed markers at various points to guide them. And so all of that is not determined at the moment. But our experience tells us that certain persons can do some things to land an aircraft such as this.
Police could not confirm if the men received assistance from anyone in country. The police press liaison stressed the importance of the public's assistance in solving crimes like these.
No one works in a vacuum. The police needs the information from the members of the public. The Royal Bahamas Police Force needs assistance from our international partners. So our success is predicated on cooperating with others, working together for the good of all in the local community and in the global community. And we thank everybody who've been assisting us by giving us the information, and we're acting upon it. And thus, tonight is the result of what we are working together.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
As churches prepare for numerous services amid a holiday COVID-19 spike, the Bahamas Christian Council president is urging church leaders to follow safety protocols to avoid making a bad situation worse. Berthany McDermott has that.
The recent uptick in COVID-19 cases is a major concern to the Bahamas Christian Council, which is reinforcing safety protocols ahead of holiday services. Council President Bishop Delton Fernandez said he held a meeting with church leaders following Thursday's health briefing by the Office of the Prime Minister.
I made it abundantly clear that what we did not want was for those that have the camera and the mic to look at us in the following weeks. And then the state said there were some clusters that happened in our events.
The country recorded 159 new COVID-19 infections on Thursday. 150 of those cases were on New Providence. Churches usually hold services on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and New Year's Eve. Fernando outlined a number of steps churches can take to avoid crowds, including holding multiple services.
They could use the gamut. They can have the drive-up services if they choose to. They can have a totally outdoor service if they choose to. If their space allows, they must follow the space protocol, and if that volume, vis-a-vis if you're in a 2,000-seater and now you're seating 500 to 600 people, and that's the number you expect, well, you can also do that inside, or you could decide to go totally virtual.
Churches are asked to follow the policy outlined by the Christian Council of 33% of total seating capacity. Back in August, the church was thrust into the spotlight when the Nassau Guardian reported that a Church of God convention appeared to be linked to multiple COVID cases and hospitalizations. Fernando said if an outbreak happens at a church, protocols are in place.
Those protocols will be that we'll be notified. We'll reach out to those churches. Church will go into a 2-week virtual platform or outdoor platform until that prescribed period is over, then they'll come back.
To those churches that may still choose to ignore the protocols, Fernando said this.
It's now time for us as citizens to say to your church congregant, your church leadership, that this environment has protocols. And if, as a church, we're not going to abide by them, then we're not being that type of citizen in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And for a time being, as has been happening, parishioners will make decisions.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Clear conditions as Santa makes his deliveries. Meteorologist Greg Thompson has the latest from the Weather Center.
Thanks, Christina, and happy holidays, everybody. A beautiful evening setting up for us on the outdoors. Good night to get out and visit that place of worship. Temperatures in the low 70s, 73 on the mostly clear skies. We have some patchy clouds moving in from the northeast. And the winds are out of the northeast at 8 miles per hour, and your feels-like temperature also in the low 70s. Satellite view, high pressure remains in charge, generating a northeast to easterly flow, bringing in some patchy clouds, dry conditions, a little breezy today, but that frontal boundary near the southeast Bahamas is now across Hispaniola. We will continue to enjoy these beautiful conditions tonight through tomorrow. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, police cautioning Christmas shoppers amid reports of robberies, and a Dorian survivor gets a new home for the holidays. The details when our news returns.
Get that glorious internet connection back in business within seconds with the new self-help modem reset. Just follow these very easy steps. Step 1, call 601-2200 or 242-300-2200. Number 2, select option 3. Step 3, select option 2. Step 4, enter your 8-digit account number. Step 5, follow the prompts. It's really that simple. Rev, you and us together.
The Ministry of Health confirming 159 new COVID-19 cases yesterday, the highest daily total in months. 150 of those cases were on New Providence, 2 on Grand Bahama, and 1 on Abaco and Eleuthera each, with locations pending for 2 cases. An RT-PCR test no older than 72 hours will be required to enter the country effective January 7th. Former Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands calls it a step in the right direction, but says it could be better.
I am sure that the Prime Minister would have been hearing advice, information, logistical challenges from many people in terms of what impact the reduction in time for PCR testing would create. So it's certainly better than 5 days. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. We'll see whether or not it has the necessary protective impact that we'd like to see. We would have preferred 48 hours, but it's better than 5 days.
There are now 893 active cases in country, with 19 cases in hospital and 2 in intensive care. Well, amid holiday merriment, police are warning Bahamians not to let their guard down this Christmas season, as authorities have responded to a number of armed robberies and vehicle break-ins in recent days. Police Press Liaison Officer Audley Peters.
We've had a number of armed robberies recently, but good for us. Some of the players we know, and our officers are targeting them, are targeting where they are located. Not only do we have armed robberies, we've had stealing from vehicles as well. And the result of that is that individuals are looking for parts for cars. And so we encourage drivers, homeowners, persons to be vigilant.
Peters also had this advice for Bahamians running around making last-minute Christmas purchases.
If you're going shopping with family and friends, ensure that you safeguard your property. Don't leave your things hanging in the vehicle where would-be robbers would notice them, damage your vehicle, take your items, and make good their escape. We also want to encourage persons who are getting new items for the Christmas not to leave your boxes in the yard. It makes your home a target for would-be criminals to come in after the holidays, perhaps.
As COVID-19 cases rapidly increase, the assistant superintendent is also cautioning the public to celebrate safely.
If we do our part, then all of us will be safe in the community. And so it's upon each community member to make the decision to do what they can do to remain healthy and safe. On the front of the criminal aspect of that's in the community, members of the public should take the necessary precautions when going about shopping, when going about to the parties under the various restrictions, to follow the protocols with the parties.
Shifting gears now, 2 years after Hurricane Dorian displaced thousands of families on Grand Bahama, a mother wiped away her tears as she was presented with the keys to her new home in 8 Mile Rock days before Christmas. The house in the Seagrape community was built in just over 3 weeks by the Rotary Club, which received funds from an anonymous donor. Vonique Toot reports.
There's an anonymous donor out there. They saw all the great work that Rotary's done, and they didn't want any credit for it. So today, on behalf of Rotary, I say thank you.
Just in time for Christmas, a tearful Earlene Stubbs got the gift of a new home, thanks to the generosity of a Secret Santa who donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Rotary Club.
We present you with the keys to your brand new home. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Standing in front of her new home in 8 Mile Rock, Stubbs was presented with the approved plans for the house and the occupancy certificate. The mother was overcome with emotion after touring the new structure.
Congratulations. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes. Wow. Happy holidays.
This home in the Seagrape community was built in record time, 23 days. The ground was poured on November 21st, and by November 27th, exterior walls and the roof went up. Area Governor Billie Jane Ferguson says the structure was designed with Stubbs' disabled son in mind.
he looked and he threw his hands up and he was all excited. And yes, darling, we made that house especially for you with all of the handicap facility that you're gonna need to make sure that your mom is able to take care of you.
The Rotary Club has repaired 1,000 homes and built 17 homes since Hurricane Dorian battered Grand Bahama in 2009. Then came this donation from an anonymous donor.
They gave us a total of $200,000 as a thank you to Rotary for doing the work that they did in the communities. And you know what they said? They had no strings attached to that money. They simply said to go out there and to continue the work that you've been doing.
Ferguson thanked team leader George Smith for putting service to his community above himself by bestowing on him one of the highest honors of the Rotary Club.
You are well deserving of the highest honor of Rotary, which is the Paul Harris Fellow Award.
Ferguson also thanked the team that rallied together to make it all happen.
As in the word of TMC Grape, boom!
Reporting for our news, I'm Vonnie Tude.
When our news returns, some Bahamians thinking twice about holiday gatherings, and a little girl demonstrates the real reason for the season. Find out more after this.
Get that glorious internet connection back in business within seconds with the new self-help modem reset. Just follow these very easy steps. Step 1, call 601-2200 or 242-300-2200. Number 2, select option 3. Step 3, select option 2. Step 4, enter your 8-digit account number. Step 5, follow the prompts. It's really that simple. Rev, you and us together.
This is our news. Welcome back. Following the announcement of new restrictions limiting gatherings to 20 people indoors and 30 people outdoors, some Bahamians are thinking twice about attending social gatherings this holiday weekend.
And it's a thing that persons need to be more careful as they go about how they intermingle with other persons. You know about yourself where all you've been, you don't know where other persons have been, so when you come into contact with persons, you've got to be very careful. My advice on that, stay to yourself.
Meanwhile, others say they plan to attend small gatherings with just family members.
Just basic family and friends, mostly family. That's what the gathering will be all about this Christmas. Well, all of my family has been vaccinated, so I feel pretty safe around my family who's been vaccinated, so yes.
A 6-year-old girl who made it her mission to help kids in need has surpassed her own expectations for her annual Christmas gift giveaway. This year, Brielle was hoping to buy 250 gifts to give to less fortunate kids, but her mom says she was able to do much more. The first grade student at Temple Christian Schools says she was happy she could do what she loves while also helping those in need. She uses the money she makes selling cupcakes to buy the gifts.
We help other children, so we get the boys and girls gifts, and then we wrap them up, and then on Christmas Eve, we give them to the boys and girls.
Her mom, Treva Brister, says the give back could not have been possible without the support of family, friends, and corporate sponsors.
Last year, we just stepped our foot into the water, and so we were still able to purchase and give out 150 gifts. So this year, our goal had increased, and we actually wanted to distribute 250 gifts. But we are pleased to announce that we surpassed our goal, and we are giving out today 307 gifts to the boys and girls.
Brielle and her family once again partnered with the Royal Bahamas Police Force and took the SUV and truckloads of gifts to the homes of grateful kids this morning.
The need is very hard for those within the community, and the houses that we are going to go to are persons who are in dire need of gifts. Most of these children might not even receive any Christmas gift this year, but through the project of Brielle, they will receive a Christmas gift this year.
Still ahead, Greg is back with a look at holiday weather. Stay with us.
Get that glorious internet connection back in business within seconds with the new self-help modem reset. Just follow these very easy steps. Step 1, call 601-2200 or 242-300-2200. Number 2, select option 3. Step 3, select option 2. Step 4, enter your 8-digit account number. Step 5, follow the prompts. It's really that simple. Rev, you and us together.
Welcome back to our news. A sunny Christmas in the Bahamas. Greg is back with our holiday weather.
Thanks, Christina, and welcome back, everybody, for your second look at weather on this beautiful Christmas Eve. High pressure, the dominant weather feature for our area, that is going to continue to generate some very nice conditions. Breezy today, and we had some patchy clouds moving across, but it remained dry, so we didn't see much in terms of any rainfall. Frontal boundary now to the southeast of the Bahamas across Hispaniola will continue to push out towards the southeast. That high will remain in charge for the next couple of days. That will keep all frontal boundaries towards the north and away from us. But temperatures should start to warm up by tomorrow and then progressively warm up by the beginning of next week. Boating forecast for the northwest Bahamas tonight through tomorrow. Northeast to east winds at 10 to 15 knots. Seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Tide is presently low, will be high at 11:30 tonight. For the central and southeast Bahamas, a caution flag posted for you guys down there. Northeasterly wind at 15 to 20 knots. Seas will be running a very choppy 4 to 6 feet over the ocean. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your extended forecast through next Friday. That's a look at our weather. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Christina?
Thanks, Greg, and thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. Stay tuned for the Hallmark feature, Our Christmas Love Song. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night for our Christmas newscast. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.